It's on the
Twice, yeah.
phone.
Okay, thanks for letting me helping me test it. Okay.
No problem.
All right. Can you guys hear me now? All right, we're good to go. All right. So I don't know when I don't know when my sound just randomly died on you guys. But essentially, I was pointing out that group attacks are good. That's what I was trying to say. Um, it's much better to attack once with a +7 than 4 times with a +3 because that's 4 chances to get a nat 1 and cause a consequence or a complication, or just miss. You're gonna miss a lot with a +3. You might actually hit with a +7. So that's why it's always good to use your minions to do group attacks. And you know what's really good about a group attack is the damage payoff. The GM decides how many minions participate in group attack, blah, blah, blah. But here's the thing. If 4 minions hit with an attack that deals 1 damage, now they deal 4 damage. Well, look at this. This greatsword deals 9 damage. That means that if 4 of these guys hit, that's 36 damage. And then if you add in the martial advantage there, that's another, if we're assuming there's 4 guys, that's another 4 damage on top of that. That is a bananas amount of damage for these guys to deal. Almost to the point that I'm kind of wondering if maybe I should look at one of the other MCDM books and look at the orcs and stuff and see just how much damage they're having those guys do. Because I always forget when I'm assigning damage just how hard those attacks are actually going to hit. So let me see. Alright, new content available for Flea Mortals. Click here to claim it. Sounds good. Packet number 1, there's a lot of stuff. The packet 8 new orcs. Packet number 4 has gnolls. Alright, yeah, that sounds fine. So let's open this up, see what we got. Open the file. Yes, that is the file. Yep. We're going to open it up, and we're going to unzip it. We're so close. Flea Immortals Packet 4. Alright, so using these creatures, creature rolls. Alright, I don't know what Engolotls are, but we'll just keep going. They sound really spooky. Gnolls. Okay. Is there a Gnoll minion we can look at? Let's see. We got Static, Gnome Cackler, Gnome Marauder. Here we go. Gnoll Wildling. This is a CR1 minion, and their average damage is a 2. So we should definitely tweak down what we're doing here with this damage. I think. Let's see. Are there any other minion monsters we can look at? Controller, Dreadlord, Time Raiders. Do Time Raiders. These are much higher level creature. Here we go. Here's a level 3 Time Raider Vandal, and its average damage is only 4. Okay, so important takeaway here. We do not. Yeah. No, 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 no. It is multiplied, Dom. It is multiplied. That is why it's so important to take a moment when you're building your minions to math that shit out. So that would mean if 8 hobgoblins were surrounding somebody and they all did a group attack together, that attack would be coming in at a +13. No, no, no. Sorry, +8. They'd be coming in at a +12. And if it hit, currently, it would be 8 times 9, so what, 72 points of damage. It's stupid. Okay, it's stupid. So what we're going to do then is we are going to change the composite longbow to do only, we'll say, 2 damage. Alright, and then we're going to change their greatsword here to do, we'll say, 3 damage. Maybe we'll even change, you know what, we'll change the range stuff to do 1 damage. Because if they all fire together, if a squad of archers fired at you, I kind of like two. Two works. But if 3 of them attacked and they all stabbed at you, that would be 3 times the number of minions. So if 4 minions attacked, that would be 12 damage, and then they would get another 4 damage from their martial advantage. So that works out pretty good. I don't feel that each of them would get to contribute because they're making one group attack. So they would only be able to trigger martial advantage that one time. All right. So I'm glad we stopped ourselves to look at that. Okay. So now we have an attack that does an average of 3 damage instead of 9, which would have been bananas. 3 is still very high. And then composite longbow is also there at a 3. Okay. So now we can look at making a goblin. Now they have a goblin already in the Flea Mortals book, and it's a pretty good goblin. So we might want to consider it, but their goblin is all about running up and stabbing you over and over again. And I'm kind of looking for a goblin minion that is about needling you with ranged attacks. See, they have a dagger attack, and then they kind of cause they can make you do a dexterity save every turn or take damage. The minion doesn't provoke opportunity attacks when they move out of enemy's reach. That's just a goblin thing. If the minion takes damage from an attack, that's a minion thing. Tiny stabs. If a visible enemy starts their turn within 5 feet of 3 or more goblin minions, the enemy must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or take 1 piercing damage for each goblin minion within 5 feet. So this is a cool passive ability that they have. Our hobgoblins sort of have a passive ability in so much as they have their martial advantage, so we don't really need that. And then they have a real shitty, like, +3 to attack. It can be thrown at range, 1 damage. Goblins benefit from fighting in environments with features to climb on and hide behind like trees and pillars. The crafty trait means melee-focused goblins run into combat attack and then regroup with their allies. It also allows goblin minions to run past warriors and surround their spellcasting foes to make use of their tiny stabs trait. Goblins who fight at range climb for better sightlines and defense. Cool. So let's go ahead and convert our own goblins. So all of our goblins in this campaign are pretty good. We only have 2 types. We have goblin skirmishers and we have goblin war leaders, and that is because the red hand culture would only support like strong and capable goblins. So like the real shitty goblins, they don't got time for them. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the skirmisher and we're gonna duplicate him, and we're gonna go ahead and call him a goblin scout. So that seems kind of good. Or we'll call it a Goblin Fleetfoot. There we go. So the Goblin Fleetfoot, we'll go in here to Prototypes, and we'll change it to Goblin Fleetfoot. We will make sure that they have blood. It's very important. And that's good. We don't want these guys to have much hit points at all. So I think the recommended hit points of 6 is pretty good. Again, our average damage output we're looking at is 9. So that still means that they'll kill 2 on a hit for the most part. But it means someone like Thanlin will absolutely mow that shit down. And Barnabas and Jert, with their ranged attacks, if they roll well, they will be able to kill quite a few as long as they are in a straight line. So what we will do for these guys then is give them, I'm going to make them real shitty, so we'll give them 5 hit points. This does mean that they will be killed by spike growth, but that's okay because they're going to focus on ranged attacks. All right, so we're going to go ahead and they will not have mounted combatants anymore, so we're going to get rid of that. Skirmish advantage. The goblin gains advantage on its first attack roll this turn if it has moved at least 15 feet from its space at the beginning of its turn. We're not going to give these guys, well, skirmish advantage does actually sound pretty cool. The problem is they would all have to be running and gunning to trigger that ability as a minion. That's not necessarily a bad thing, though. Okay, we'll come back to that, whether we keep skirmish advantage. We are calling them a Fleetfoot after all. Dog Slicer. This would be their up close melee attack. So we're going to go ahead and gimp this significantly. So let's see. They're currently at a +2 with a +3. So these guys will be coming in hot with a +5, which is kind of crazy. So we're going to reduce the Fleetfoot's dexterity down to a 13 so that that attack is only coming in at a +3. And then we don't want them to do melee, so we're going to change that to 1 slashing damage with their Dog Slicer. And that should solve that problem. Now, the short bow is the claim to fame. The fancier goblins have flame arrows. We are not going to give these guys flame arrows. So we'll go ahead and delete their flame arrows. And let's see. We will set their bows to not require any ammunition because I don't want to track all that. Let's see. Resource consumption, nothing. Doesn't need ammunition. All right, cool. And close. All right. Now, in here, they are only getting a +3 to their attack roll, but they are going to be shooting from a distance. So, I guess we'll set the damage at 1 for now. We do want to have something that encourages them to attack from a distance, though. Alright, they have this ability, Skirmisher. When an enemy of the goblin it can see ends its turn within 5 feet of it, the goblin can move up to half its speed, and this movement doesn't provoke opportunity attacks. That might be worth keeping, just to make them hard to lock down. But also, it doesn't really encourage... it encourages movement, sure, on the battlefield, and they're always kind of moving around. That combined with Nimble Escape, that they can take a disengage or hide on each of his turns. That sounds great. So we can definitely keep these guys moving, but there's still no like benefit for all of them being together other than your normal minion things. And when you're designing an MCDM minion, it does seem like you want to have one signature ability, one signature move that causes their speed to increase. So what we could do is give them an ability called Slowing Shot. That might be kind of cool. So essentially, instead of a short bow, we could go in and call this Slowing Shot. Because these guys want to go fast, like Sonic the Hedgehog style, and they don't want other people to go fast. So what we could do with Slowing Shot is it is a simple ranged, and then we will do under description. If Slowing Shot was made as a group attack, comma, and hits a creature, comma, that creature's speed is reduced by 5 for each goblin that participated in the Slowing Shot attack, period. And then we'll put to a minimum of 5. So they can't make you not move at all, but you're slowing down because you're like moving and avoiding all these arrows that are just constantly like raining down at you. So I think that's a really cool way to do it. So if Slowing Shot was made as a group attack and hits a creature, that creature's speed is reduced by 5 for each goblin that participated in the Slowing Shot attack to a minimum of 5. I like that. Okay, so now we have to go over here to better roles and make sure that description is on so we can learn all about it when we use that ability. It doesn't look like any players are logged in right now, so let's go ahead and pump that one out just so that we can see what it looks like. All right. If a Slowing Shot was made as part of group attack, beautiful. Okay, So now we have a group-based attack. None of the damage that these guys deal is very noteworthy. Even if they all work together, they're only timesing a 4, right? So, or a 5, or however many of them work together. So if in a group attack, they all attacked one person, I think the most people that can attack in a group attack, hold on. Let's see. Yes, group attacks. Each minion in a group attack action speeds up play. In a group attack, 2 to 5 minions. Okay, so at least 5. So 5 of these guys go at once. That means that the attack is now a +8. And then if the attack hits, it will deal 5 damage, which is pretty easy to walk away from at the level that they are at, level 9, I believe, 8 or 9. So they'll be able to kind of walk away from that damage. It might be 7. I don't keep track. Probably should. So they can walk away from that damage relatively easily, but can they walk very far is the question. Because 5 people attacking means that your speed has been reduced by 25. So some people, that would mean they only have 5 speed left, to move. Some people could move much faster. We don't say that it's your walking speed, it affects all speeds. So overall, I think that slowing shot is a pretty good way of respecting the minion properties without having to add yet another thing to the stat block. Now, keep in mind that if all of these little dudes in a synchronized run all ran 15 feet and then took shots, that'd be pretty damn cool. If all of them somehow managed to hide using nimble escape, then they would all be able to provide advantage, and then the group attack could be made at advantage. It's important to note that with a group attack that everybody who is a part of the group attack has to be providing advantage for there to be advantage to the attack, or has to be providing disadvantage for there to be disadvantage with the attack. Otherwise, it's just normal. So it's not too easy for most monsters in a group to get advantage unless maybe it's like a pack tactic situation or something like that. And it's very hard to impose disadvantage to an entire group of monsters that are doing a group attack unless you have an effect that has somehow affected all of the monsters in a group. So now we have this Goblin Fleetfoot, and I really like him. I think that's a cool monster. We are technically closing in on time. Those are the 2 of the minions that I wanted to make. And I feel like we could start throwing these guys out much more frequently against the party. We could also look at making tougher monsters as well. But overall, we've got a good melee threat, a very good melee threat, and then we have a very useful ranged threat. If we really want to deal a lot of damage at range, I mean, that's what these snipers are for. They've got magic users and all that kind of stuff. So that really shouldn't be too much of an issue. Other things that we might consider making into minions for this campaign, we might consider making red cap minions. We could take these red cap bantlings that we made, and we could turn those into minions relatively with relative ease. So I might put a little tag here next to that. Maybe I'll put in the source, we'll call it a minion. Am I allowed to do that? Let's see. There we go. And what we could do with the red cap bantlings is they have something called Glory Hog. When an enemy is next to one of your allies and you have disadvantage on the attack, you have disadvantage on the attack because you're competing with your allies. I don't actually think we want to keep that on the minions, because that is essentially saying that the more minions that are working together, the worse things are. So we would probably go ahead and remove that. Let's see. Alright, they only have 7 hit points, which is kind of what we designed in the first place, was for them to die relatively easy. But they are supposed to deal a lot of damage. Also, 7 is enough that they would stand a good chance of being killed by a spike growth, but probably half of them might survive. Well, average damage on a 2d4 is only a 5, so yeah, it's a good chance that they'll survive. Some of them would be killed. So 7's actually quite a bit right there. If we look here at Soak Your Cap, if you were adjacent to an opponent who is at 0 HP, you can soak your cap in their blood. that's cool and all, but we don't really need them to have temp HP, and we don't really need them to have any hit dice. So that ability is not as useful. We'll go ahead and get rid of that. We do want them to deal pretty heavy damage because they are red caps. So looking at the Wicked Sickle, I think I'll just start tagging everything with an M so that I know it's a minion. We'll go over to the static damage, and we'll definitely have these guys rocking like a 3. So that means if 5 of them work together, they could do 15 damage. And then, let's see. Maybe we need to get some art here for the button. Let's see. Oops. Go up. Icons, weapons, sickles. There we go. And let's see. What other abilities could these guys have that would make them interesting? Ooh, grappling would be good. When grappling, the red cap is considered to be medium. Also, wielding a heavy weapon doesn't impose disadvantage on its attack rolls. And then they got iron boots. While moving, the red cap has disadvantage on dexterity stealth checks. We can keep that. Shifty, they can disengage as a bonus action. Sure, they can keep that. Does sneak attack overkill slashes? I like that. That works. Let's see. Ooh, how about this? We'll call it Pack Hunters. And we will put all bonuses to group attacks are doubled against bloodied opponents. Holy shit. So this means each attacking red cap provides a +2 bonus to the attack. And damage. How do we do damage without making that absolutely stupid? So the damage formula would be if the group attack, multiply the damage by the number of minions made. So it would be multiply by twice the minions. Oh my god. Alright. So we'll do this. Okay, and then we'll put and, comma, if the group attack hits, multiply the damage by twice the number of minions that made the group attack. Okay. So that means, let's do some quick math here. If 5 of these guys surrounded you and you were bloodied, their attack would be coming in at a +15 instead of a +5. And that would mean that the damage would be coming in at a 30 instead of a 15 because it would be twice the number. So 5 of them would actually be 10. 10 times 3 would be 30 points of damage. If that doesn't summate that you are in the middle of an actual living blender, I don't know what else does. So I think that Pack Hunter's ability is absolutely disgusting, takes the existing mechanics and like kicks them into overdrive, and it suddenly makes these bantlings absolutely terrifying. To the point that I think I might lower their HP a little bit more. I don't know. 7 HP, they could still kill quite a few of them in one go. They don't have any ranged attacks, and they are very slow with a speed of 25. So there are mitigating things that you could do to keep yourself safe, but this is like a whole pack of little tonberries just slowly making their way towards you, getting ready to hack you up to pieces. So yeah, maybe we'll keep it at 7. That sounds pretty good. They got a low armor class, so that should be relatively easy for them to deal with. So overall, that's a terrifying minion that we just made. Wow. All right. It would be flavorful if everything doubled like that, but they had disadvantage on the attack, as if they are competing. Maybe if it hits a minion, dies. Oh, okay, that sounds good. So let's go to let's see. We'll put bloodthirsty pack hunters. All opponent. There we go. So all bonuses to group attacks are doubled against opponents. Here we go. If 5 red caps are performing a group attack, let's say if 4 or more. Here we go. If 4 or more red caps are performing a group attack, the attack is made at disadvantage, and if it hits, one of the red caps dies, torn to pieces by its own allies in their wild bloodlust. There we go. That sounds pretty good. So it's like scary as hell to have all these guys close in on you. But man, if they do and they hit, that's gonna be a fat hit right there. And potentially lethal, at least for lower level characters. I think everybody has enough hit points now that they'll live through it. But that way, if 4 or more red caps are performing a group attack, the attack is made at a disadvantage, and if it hits, one of the red caps dies, torn to pieces by its own allies in their wild bloodlust. So once they get too many involved, they don't work well together, which sort of brings back that original thing that the Bantling had of competitive or whatever. All right, that sounds great. So that's a very terrifying monster we've got there. I'm into it. Yeah. Okay. So we made 3 minions. We had a little bit of sound issues today, so it looks like we had 2 streams, but really only had 1. Game starts at 10 o'clock, and we do have other prep we could be performing here for the game. I think we have more than enough content, though, to see us through everything that is happening, but I don't know. I'll go another 9 minutes just to take a look at general prep that we have going on. So, currently they're in the New Jack Village. They have a new ally, and yeah, I made a mistake last week. We had already established in this campaign that Fey creatures, when they died, if they were truly Fey creatures, they would their bodies would return to their home plane. So when they did kill Ozyrandian technically lived because they weren't on his home plane. That could be fun to bring in later when they go to the Fane of the Bloodlord within the Feydark, which is what we're reskinning the final dungeon for, and we could have Ozyrandian back for a rematch, and we could put him in like an underground like mushroom forest or something, and that could be a really cool fight, having him use his illusion abilities and stuff like that again, and then using the environment, and it will be far enough in the future that it won't feel like they have to do this shit all the time. They're not constantly fighting Ozyrandian. Alright, so I thought that was pretty cool, and if they killed him in the Feydark, then that is the Feywild, and then they would finally get the benefits of his corpse or whatever. So my anticipation today is that they're going to travel to Gomek's Wallows. They're going to try to get Gomek to eat the antidote that was prepared for them by the witch. When they finish their work there, they will give some kind of speech to the lizard folk, and then they will make an effort to return to the elves of the Tiri Kator, which I guess we could probably, at this point, label that on the map. So let's see. We'll go with, yeah, we'll take this, put this over here, go in here. And all that weird map dot is, it's just me copy and pasting a bullet into the text, and it just creates that cool little map circle. That's not something that you could, I don't know, just do normally in Foundry, but it's very easy. Just type into Google like bullet points or something, and you should just be able to copy it. So let's see, Tiri Couture. Probably should have had this on the map the whole time. Oh, there we go. Like, who couldn't figure out that the biggest, most magical looking tree was their homeland? But, you know, whatever. I guess we should just go ahead and add a bunch of map markers while I'm thinking about it. So we'll add Wrath Keep. There we go. And then this would be Skullgorge Bridge. I don't think I spelled Wrath Keep right, but whatever. Let's see. All right. Move that to there. Much better, much better. All right, Going Swallows, the Witch. I don't think they've encountered any other significant things. There was this little lightning area right here. I don't know how that... I guess we'll label it just so that they feel like they've gone places and done things. So we'll do text. Let's see, lightning clearing. Maybe we'll call it struck clearing. Clearing? Cleaning? Clearing. There we go. English. Okay. Maybe we should reduce the font size too on these less important locations. Yeah. Skullgorge Bridge could stay pretty big. We'll drop that to like a 36. There we go. Wrath Keep, same deal. Drop it to like a 36. But like their meeting place where they met with Warkelnaw, we could put that down to here. And we'll put this as Tower Ruins. And we'll put that down to 24. There we go. And let's see, were there any other like piddly ass areas where they ran into stuff? Yeah, so in here, we could put Walkerlaw's lair, because it was like right about there, I think. So we'll just put Bandit Caves. Cool. All right. That helps them feel, I think, like they've actually accomplished shit and like gone around the world and done stuff. It probably looks better too than like random pink circles that we don't remember like what that means or what that did. Let's see, Sistrellam's Ferry right here. Oh, we could put the meadows or whatever. Daisy Meadows. There we go. I feel like Daisy Meadows is close enough to the town not to require this, but again, we want them to start feeling like they are living in the world and doing shit, so not a bad idea. All right, Jolin's Ferry. There we go. Cool. All right. Everything else is going to require some searching and exploring and adventuring and whatnot, so that's cool. So yeah, they're going to go to Gomex Swallows. More than likely, they'll knock that out today. Then they will travel back through the Black Fens, and then they will arrive in the Witchwood, wherein they will be attacked by the Jabberwocky. They will return to the Tiri Couture, and they will try to get back. Well, they will try to get the elves to back their cause, and then if they're really smart, they'll push for Owl Mounts. At that point, let's look at the calendar. Let's see. Now, keep in mind that they stayed. Make calendar big. There we go. They stayed overnight, I believe, in this place. So a day has passed because they're going to stay the night. All right. So now it's a Saturday. So they still have time to get back to Drellin's Ferry before the attack. Maybe? Let's see. Let me check my notes. Skullgorge Bridge. And then... show me my notes. Yeah, Drellin's Ferry gets attacked on Monday. So they delayed things quite a bit by destroying the bridge, but now they are essentially coming up through the mountains and down and around, avoiding the water altogether. So that kind of slowed their progress. I would draw the course of their marching, but people are starting to log into the game, so I can't do that. Ugh. All right. So another thing that I needed to fix was two of their B team companions had been broken for a long time, so I could finally add those guys back in. So let me go do that real quick. So under companions, I fix Minette, I fix Gerard, and then in the Pokemon folder, I believe we fixed their oxen. I was going to call them donkeys, but oxen. There we go. All right. These guys are dead, so get them off the map so we don't have painful memories. Guy has passed on, so we'll put him up there. Maybe, I don't know, squish some blood out of him. There we go. And then, let's see. Got her over here. Warklenaw, all that. Okay, so that's looking relatively good. So we're pretty much back where we started a few weeks ago, where we had done some prep for Brindle, and we had done some global prep of sort of just deciding what the side quest would be in these different areas. I believe we made a side dungeon for the Tomb of the Burning Heart, and there was also some talk of the Weapons of Rest, that the arrows they found were not the same as, were not listed on the normal Weapons of Rest list. So probably need to go through and actually get the Weapons of Rest knocked out in a meaningful way, so that we stop giving out too many magical items, for sure. So something to think about. What we'll probably do is, this is the grave where the dude was actually buried, but his quiver, which is just a elemental quiver, I'm gonna say that maybe Golden Brow has it, because, you know, there's nothing cooler than a cleric that shoots elemental arrows. I mean, that sounds kind of dope, actually. Especially if it's one of those clerics that you can infuse your weapon attacks with additional elemental power. So then she's dropping a lot of elemental power there. Could be kind of cool, actually. She's one of them life clerics that only gives you fat healing words, and then uses the rest of her stuff for ranged attacks. I'm going to refer to the blades as the Bloodlords, refer the blade as the Bloodlords attached his Oasis. Also, I think the art swapping broke. I can't get it off today. Alright, let's check. Raidriar. Alright, so he's there. Prototype token. And... oh, yeah. Here we go. Update. Okay. Okay, well, thank you everybody for hanging out. I'm glad we were able to build 3 very cool minions, get a little bit of cleanup done on the campaign, reorient ourselves and remember what we're doing and where we're going. The game is going to be in about 15 minutes or so, and it will be hosted by Alexeus22 on Twitch, or you could watch the VOD on Thursday on YouTube. So maybe I'll see you then. Oh, right, updates, my bad. Tomorrow morning, we've got Curse of Straw Daybreak. Tomorrow night, we've got Mythic Odyssey. Monday, we've got Odyssey Prime. Tuesday, Dom's starting up a Cyberpunk campaign. It'll be session 0/1. Wednesday, Monster Hunter continues, heading towards the end of the campaign. We only got 2 quests left to do in the whole campaign. Then we've got Curse of Strahd Nightfall on Thursday. We've got Rhyme on Fridays with Orpheus. And then Saturday, we'll be back here. So, a lot of opportunities for us to hang out. Maybe I'll see you then. Otherwise, we'll see you next time.